computing. So these changes are basically the advantages of cloud computing over traditional IT infrastructure. These days, companies do not want to work with their own data center because to manage their own individual data center, their personal data center, it's a very expensive task. So it means one thing is very clear. The cloud computing is now necessary to learn for every IT professional or anyone somehow connected with the cloud services. So nowadays, cloud computing is being used almost in every field. I was talking about the education, IT infrastructure, software development, e-commerce, medical field, research and development, and many other areas we can mention here. But in addition, with the help of cloud computing, it would be easier for us to implement and they use the field like artificial intelligence and machine learning. You might have heard about this. I'm not able to see your chats here. In AWS, we have a number of specific services. And we have, so if you just talk about AWS, more than 200 fully featured services are there. 200 fully featured services. It's a big number. It's a really big number. And if you're talking about the major or minor services, more than 1,400 services we have in AWS. So AWS is just like an ocean. It's a big platform. And it is for everyone. It is for architects. It's for developers. It is for security personals. It is for big data. It is for warehousing, data warehousing. So means almost every task you can do. Even IoT you can implement. You can go for artificial intelligence, machine learning. So what in brief I want to say you can do almost every task on AWS. But there is one important thing that I need to share among you. This is the mind map, right? I just created it for you. You please see. Are you able to see it? Yeah. So this is created for you. So let's say if you're a sub means freshly absolutely new, you have no idea about cloud computing, and you want to go into the cloud computing. So what exactly the prerequisites are there to start your journey to learn AWS cloud computing? So according to my document, I'm just sharing here. So you must have some knowledge about TCP IP networking. So as Atul sir was saying, this is not for very freshers. You must have some industry background, or you must have some experience, or you must have some conceptual background about those subjects. So what are those subjects? The first one is TCP IP networking. You must have some idea about the TCP IP networking. I'm just writing very clearly. You must have open system interconnection knowledge. Then what are the IP addressing, subnetting, and IPv4? What are the protocols, port numbers? What are the use of those ports? And you must have some system administration knowledge using two different platforms, Linux as well as Windows Server platform. Secondly, if you know about security, what are the security? Means what those threats basically the people see in their daily life when they deal with their professional infrastructure. So you should have some clear concept about the fundamental of securities. Secondly, you must have little idea about what kind of the databases are there. We have the two different kind of databases, like SQL databases and no SQL databases, right? So you will have some idea. I'm not asking you to just learn completely, but you must have, because all these things we are just going to use in AWS. Secondly, if you know about some languages like Python or shell scripting or JSON language, it's really good. So guys, so this is the prerequisite to start the journey. So if you have this knowledge, so we start from here actually. We start this teaching with the virtualization. So we teach hypervisor, what kind of a hypervisor we have. and what you can do with the hypervisor, what is the virtualization by the way, because the hypervisor is providing, or with the help of the hypervisor, you can create virtual machines. So we are dealing with the different kind of hypervisor in industry these days. And we should have a concept of virtual machine as well as virtual storages, right? And once we cover, then we'll come on to the second step called phase 2. So this again is a very new technology you might have seen these days, containers and container orchestration tools. So you might have listened about Docker. So Docker is a container engine. Basically, container is a lightweight virtual machine. And now these days, because of the less cost, because of the less resources, you can use on these containers. With the less resources, you can start your container. You can run your application. So what all these containers are and how we can create and how we can manage. So we are taking all these things step by step in the course. Of course, it's not a part of the course, but it is really important to learn, because when you learn AWS, even in AWS, we have container services also. So you can create and manage your containers using Docker as well as Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is an orchestration tool. Now, once you complete, here we start AWS. So very first, we start with the practitioner level. As Atul sir told, that we are just going to give some free classes on AWS. So in these 3 classes or 4 classes, whatever is there, so we are going to just teach about very simple way, in a very simple way, what is AWS and what are those services are there, what is a global infrastructure, and how you can create virtual machine, how you can manage those virtual machines. It's a part of actually this.
Sanjay sir, sorry to interrupt you. So
yeah.
Actually, I made the YouTube live later on. So many students who are watching us on YouTube, so they do not know. So guys, what we are doing. So this week, Wednesday and next session is on Friday. So we are going to take 2-3 sessions as a complimentary from our side. Okay. So in these 2-3 sessions, you will be able to complete your first level of certification, which is AWS Cloud Practitioner. So we will try to give you the fundamental knowledge. And if you are convinced and if you feel like this training is awesome and you want to proceed, so we have our premium programs, which is associate level, professional, and there is a network specialist program. Okay. So this is what Sanjay sir is explaining here. Okay, about the cloud computing. So there are some technologies about Kubernetes, containers. So we are going to learn all these things. So, but yes, what is the first step? You have to come in these 2-3 sessions, and to join this program, you have to register for the Zoom meeting, where we are going to share the email ID for all the sessions. So like today is the day 1 for cloud practitioner, and day 2 and day 3 live sessions, you will be getting an email. So we take classes on 3 days, Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So suppose if we are starting a day, not suppose, so we are starting our first session today, Wednesday. So second session will be on Friday, and the third last session will be on Monday. Okay. And from next Wednesday, we will start our associate AWS program. Is this clear, everyone?
Yeah. Shall I continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great. Most welcome. So, guys, I was telling this is the journey as Mr. Atul told me, or told and explained that we'll start with the cloud practitioner, then we'll start with AWS Solution Associate, then advanced network and associate, and professional level of architect level certification. This is very important, and this is almost equivalent to CCNP. And this also is in very demand. AWS advanced networking level of certification. I think very, very, very few people are just providing such kind of knowledge. So such kind of combo you won't find. You don't find anywhere, right? So no issue. And these are the basically some target jobs I did right here. So once you become actually AWS solution architect with the profession, you can go for even cloud architect expert level of job. So this is a really big job, right? So guys, you please try to understand. So in reality, we are facing some the talent crunch these days. The people don't have proper knowledge about this platform. So by the way, so one more thing we are just going to add in this training, that is called the Terraform. Terraform also, this is a kind of a tool which is based on some scripting, HashiCorp, which is known as a HashiCorp. And with the help of this, you can not only create your AWS infrastructure, you can also manage AWS infrastructure. And this tool is being used very frequently in the industry. And after that, some additional things are there. Means people want to learn, if they want to work on multi-cloud environment, they can learn Azure as well as GCP platform also. So the story is not yet over. I was just giving, this is a kind of a presentation I just create to just understand the flow of your journey, means how you can start and from where you can start and where you can reach actually. So guys, I think I should start with some little fundamental, because today I was just explaining, I was going to explain very simple things about cloud computing. I'll take from the benefits. What are the benefits? But before that, I'll need to start with the definition of the cloud computing, right? And this will help you. So guys, in the easiest term, means how you would explain what is the cloud computing. So in the easiest term, the cloud computing defines the storing and accessing data and programs over the internet from a remote location. Remote location means over the internet. Means the hosted services over the internet is known as cloud. That could be a public cloud, that could be a private cloud, that could be a hybrid cloud. So cloud computing by AWS, it refers to the on-demand delivery of IT resources and application via internet with pay-as-you-go pricing model. Means AWS says that you have to only pay for the used resources. As per pay-as-you-go pricing model, AWS charges only for the used resources on a per hour basis. So now, this way, you can control your billing amount, right? So you have not to go for the high billing amounts. So if it is not required, if the machines are not required, if the data is not required, you can just delete the data if it is not necessary. And if you don't need those machines that you usually run, you can stop the instances over there. Instances mean the virtual machine over the AWS cloud. And what I mean to say that if the services are not required, you can stop your resources, and we will see it in detail later on in our some advanced classes, right? So guys, in order to understand why we are using cloud, so I need to just give some light on benefits of the cloud computing, because the people are very frequently adopting, or the businesses are very frequently adopting these days cloud environment. So why they are adopting cloud environment? So today we see the number of cloud computing platforms are available. As I was explaining that we have AWS, Google Cloud, MS Azure. So small, medium, and even the large business houses find some significant benefits to switch on cloud because of its less cost, high availability, and easy deployment of services. Remember, the cloud is not a single piece of technology, right? You are using the multiple technologies here. And that's why we cannot limit its benefit. So, but I'm teaching here, so because we have some little time to explain about the benefit of cloud computing, so I did write only, I think 8 to 10 points here. So guys, in coming topic, we would see the different kind of the cloud computing we have. Like I would explain later on what is a SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, means software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So almost every organization wants to use the cloud computing benefits under, or you can say either partially or fully. So then according to one survey that was conducted by a company, that company name is Forrester in USA, they are basically estimating by the end of this year, the cloud computing business can touch almost $200 billion throughout the world. So this is a very big figure. So big player of the cloud computing like Amazon, Intel, HP, this Microsoft, all these are making huge investment in cloud computing. And AWS is a public cloud platform, and it is based on pay-as-you-go model. Yeah, definitely the fee. I think the people, they people are different. They will definitely share you the fee. I'm the technical person. Let me teach this topic. So once I just complete this benefit of the cloud computing, you will have a better idea why people are just now choosing the cloud environment. I'll start with flexibility, right? What is the flexibility? Yeah, sorry, I just I thought that I'm not audible. So some people are writing. I think Krishna is writing. So from my side, I think that everything is correct. Okay. So I'll start with the flexibility. So cloud computing is best for businesses where you see a regular changes in resource requirement or fluctuating bandwidth of demand. And according to the resources, we can scale up or scale down number of resources that we use in AWS. Means if you have one machine and according to the requirement, if you want to create a more number of machines of the same configuration of the same type, so in a few seconds, it's very easy to just scale up or scale down your resources. So earlier it was not available in your physical data center or on-prem environment. So it's a matter of a few seconds or a few minutes with the cloud administrative knowledge. So means you must have good administrative knowledge if you want to implement a scale up or scale down. But this is possible. And one more thing, if I'm talking about the flexibility, AWS enables you to select the resources of your choice. For example, you can choose any operating system on the machine. If you want to create a Linux machine, yeah, those AMIs are possible, available, means images are available. If you want to create a Windows server for the production environment, easily you can create, means you can choose any operating system, you can choose any programming language, you can choose any kind of a database, whether it is a SQL database or a NoSQL database, you can choose any web application platform, any other service you require. So such kind of a flexibility you can see only on cloud platform, and it is not available in your on-prem environment. This is the one reason the people are frequently adopting cloud environment, and it's a cheaper as compared to your on-prem environment. Second, the reduced and capital expenditure, or you can say reduced and controlled capital expenditure. Think about the old time and old and traditional way of your IT services and IT infrastructure. You do require the servers, storages, routers, switches, cables, connector, and power backup, building, heat and ventilation system, everything you do require. And it was really hectic to manage, right? And to manage such kind of a big infrastructure, you need a big technical team. So overall cost of the infrastructure was too high. And to cut down the cost of that existing physical infrastructure, cloud basically providing you an excellent opportunity here. You can now choose AWS services, which simply based on pay-as-you-go pricing model. And you can enjoy this service model because instead of having heavy investment on hardware and software, cloud computing provides resources on cloud. And you can configure them as per your need to deliver to your end user or end client. So ultimately, you have a full control on your resources. If you want to stop, anytime you can stop. If you want to create, anytime you can create. If you want to delete or terminate, anytime you can terminate. But ultimately, you are paying only for the used resources. So this way, you have not to invest huge amount of money for your project or for your infrastructure. So guys, this is the one thing. Second advantage, what I see, it's a software update. this again is a very challenge. This was very challenging job earlier because we used to update our operating system, applications, servers time to time. But AWS is now offer patch management capabilities, which is a part of system manager in AWS. I'll teach you all those things. So with the patch management capabilities, you can automate your patching process automatically, right? Means anytime you can update your servers, your application that you run in AWS environment. So this feature saves your time and it reduces the risk of non-compliance. So what is a non-compliance? I'll explain you. And time to time, the supplier of the software finds usually vulnerability in their operating system, application, whatever they basically offer you to use. So which can be a cause of security threat. And to fix them, these vendors are basically providing the patches that we can use to update our existing infrastructure in terms of servers or applications. And this service and this feature in AWS is absolutely free of cost, right? So this is the advantage. So earlier, this task was really very hectic because in order to update your existing server, you were using WSS server. But these days, we are not using such repository servers or WSS servers. We are using simple system manager service in AWS to update our applications or our servers, right? Second advantage I see, you have not to guess the capacity that you need to continue your infrastructure. So when you decide to run an application over the cloud, you design an infrastructure as per the project need. So how many machines are required, how many servers you need, and what resources you need to continue your infrastructure or project. So at the time of designing, you either end up sitting on expensive resources or dealing with limited capacity. But if you're working on cloud computing, you don't see such challenges because the cloud computing allows you to tune the infrastructure as per the requirement. Because as I already told you, you have a full control over your AWS infrastructure. Anytime you can create a new machine and anytime you can stop. It means you have not to purchase anything in advance. So, and for that, you have not to guess how many resources or how much resources you require in future. And that can be done with the help of auto scaling. We have load balancers, we have an auto scaling. Auto scaling is basically kind of a compute service in AWS, which allows you to create a number of machines as per the requirement automatically, right? This is a great feature. So people are liking this feature. They love actually this feature. And this is the biggest advantage as I see. And next, guys, the next thing I see are data accessibility. What is a data accessibility? Data accessibility means on AWS, you can store any amount of data and any type of the data. We have different kind of storages. We have object level storage. We have block storages, we have file system storages, we have flat system storages. So first of all, we should understand what all these storages are. So we will take all these things step by step, topic wise topic. Then first of all, you should understand. So what different kind of the storages people are using in industry. And all those such storages are available on AWS. And data accessibility over the cloud is very easy, very cheap, and it's highly available for the business use, right? And any amount of data can be stored, whether it is in GBs, TBs, EBs, or PBs, right? So you can store any amount of data. So it's almost unlimited storage is there. And all storages are highly resilient. Resilient means they are highly redundant. Means if you store your one data, if you store your data, that data is automatically replicated on multiple data centers in the same region. So before starting AWS, it's really important to understand about AWS Global Infrastructure. So what is the AWS Global Infrastructure? What what is a part of the, what are those components as a part of AWS Global Infrastructure. So I'll tell you. So, but the data accessibility is very easy. And secondly, if you want, you can provide a security to your data. So if you can access your data stored over the cloud using internet connection from anywhere that is there, means you can access your data from anywhere over the internet, over the AWS cloud infrastructure, and the same data, if you want, you can provide over the internet. It's up to you. It depends on the use case, what kind of application and the use case you are taking, right? And cloud computing security feature is on high priority for cloud computing providers. So this includes protection of critical information from data leakage, data deletion, and data theft. Means AWS providing kind of a security for your data to store. Even you can encrypt your data. We have a service called KMS. And if you want to create your own encryption key, you can create your own encryption key. The both kind of encryption like symmetric as well as asymmetric encryption is there. And if you are saying that that encryption, the technology is not clear to you, or cryptography is not clear to you, no issue. I'll teach about the basics of those cryptography, that you will understand how we can use actually the KMS service in AWS to encrypt the data. And not only the feature like data encryption is available as I said, and you can apply encryption on both if the data is on rest or the data is on transit. Means if you store the data in some storage that is in rest, so you can apply encryption over there. And while you are moving the data or you're transferring your data from one location to another location within the AWS or over the internet, even you can apply some kind of encryption over there. That you need to decide what kind of encryption you need to apply, right? So what is symmetric encryption? There are the two types. Gulam, there are two types of encryption. One is a symmetric encryption. Another is asymmetric encryption. In symmetric encryption, the same key, the one key we use the same key for encryption, and the same key is being used for the decryption. While in asymmetric encryption, we deal with the two key. One is the public key and another is the private key. So one key is for encryption and another key is for the decryption. So I'll tell you in detail. Right, Gulam? Next, disaster recovery. Disaster recovery. This is a very popular term. Usually you might have heard when you talk to some technical people, and in almost every big company, this feature is being used. Means you do not want to put your data at one place because of risk. So you need to replicate the data on multiple regions or multiple data centers to save your data. So cloud disaster recovery is basically kind of a method, or is a kind of a strategy to take a backup of a cloud resources, including data. And later on, if you want, you can recover your data back. So this provides a data recovery as well as backup strategy, which has happened due to either man-made or natural catastrophe. It could be anyone. It could mean disaster could happen because of any reason, but ultimately company wants to save its data. So AWS provides services that enables the fast recovery of your configured IT infrastructure as well as data. So it is easy to apply some methods to take that to apply disaster recovery for your data or for your infrastructure. And lastly, I'm taking this benefit called competitiveness. So when you run a business, what is the ultimate goal for you? For any company, let's say the one company is making cars. So what is important for that company? The cars are important, or IT infrastructure is important? Of course, car is important. So they want to put their best effort to create or manufacture quality cars, right? So business houses need to put all their efforts to maintain quality and production number of that product, right? AWS says that just focus on your product, just focus on your project, and you should not put your heavy effort to manage IT infrastructure. So AWS says that I'm doing, right? You just do your work. And that's why they are saying that we have AWS global infrastructure. In their global infrastructure, they have everything. They have connectivity, they have storages, they have the compute resources, they have the data centers, they have availability zones, they have local zones, they have even next generation zones called wavelength zone. So wavelength zone, they have just introduced this year, right? So this is a very modern kind of zones. I'll tell you about those things. These are for 5G technologies. Now, on the cloud, you do not require heavy lifting of racks, servers, and other resources. Infrastructure as well as the softwares you do not require to just lift, right? So everything is readily available over there. And it is easy to use for everyone, and you will have better experience and low latency resources over there. If I'm talking about the latency has a different meaning here. So connectivity latency, accessing of application latency. So these are the different things. So we will discuss about all these things, right? And in brief, the cloud computing allows even the faster, or you can say that it allows you even a smaller businesses to act faster than big and established competitors. Means if you want to start your business and you have the less resources or investment in your hands, even though you can start your business with AWS or with the cloud computing environment. So this is a very demanding platform these days. So if you're an IT professional, I personally feel that so without cloud computing, your knowledge is partial. Everyone, whether you are a developer, whether you are a network engineer, system engineer, or architect, you must have a proper knowledge about cloud computing. Then only you can claim a big job in a big company. Am I right, guys? After this, I need to give a very little introduction here about services, because today is a very basic lecture I'm taking. So I want to make my lecture more interactive, because up till here we studied about some theoretical things. In theory, we did learn that what are the benefits of cloud computing. So if you help me, will you list down those points, the benefits of cloud computing? On your chat, you can list down. What are the benefits of cloud computing? It is basically going to be a very interactive session. Yes. Cost saving, flexibility, 99.99. 11 lines are there. Said, you did write only 3 lines. 11 lines are there after dot. Almost 100%. Great. Disaster recovery, high availability, data protection is very, very important. Data protection means secure. This is a secure environment. People say the cloud is not secure. It's up to your knowledge, right? If you have proper knowledge to secure your environment, this is very secure environment. Cost effective, yes. The cost also is a very important, playing a very important part. So guys, without wasting time, yeah, unlimited storage, Arvind. Perfect. Storage optimization is there, and we have pay-as-you-go pricing model. Perfect. This is a good thing. Guys, what I'm doing, I'm taking a little idea about this. So today, this is an introduction class. Let me show you. Do we have this diagram? So it will help me to just explain better. Okay, no issue. So guys, what I'm doing, I'm just creating a new diagram here. I generally use my whiteboard. This gives me more liberty to create diagrams. Yes, different kind of an operating system. Very good. So guys, I'm just demonstrating how to create a virtual machine on AWS. How to create a virtual machine on AWS. And that virtual machine is known as EC2 instance. Am I right? And that virtual machine is known as EC2 instance. EC2 is a service name and instance is virtual machine. So my virtual machine in AWS is known as EC2 instance. And EC2 full form is, what is the full form of EC2? Elastic Compute Cloud. So this is a compute service. So guys, in the very first, you must have one free tier account. AWS is a very good platform. They are providing almost every resource free of cost that you need to learn or understand AWS platform. Of course, this account is free of cost. It means you can create your account on AWS free of cost, but we have some limitations. We'll talk about those limitations later on. So today I'm just going to create one virtual machine. Let's say this is the virtual machine you have. You are just going to create a virtual machine, right? Every virtual machine in AWS has some mandatory components. Mandatory means important component. You cannot ignore those components. So if you create a virtual machine, you always use an AMI, or you can say image of an operating system. You are using an image of an operating system to launch your EC2 instance or your server. This is known as image. We are using image of operating system, OS. Whether you are using Windows machine, you are launching Windows machine or Linux machine, you need an image of an operating system. And these images are available free of cost. Some images are available free of cost, and for some images, AWS definitely charge. But maximum 80 to 90% images are available free of cost. So this is a very good platform. More than 5,000 images we have. And this is a very big number. And these images are known as Amazon machine image. So guys, I'm not teaching actually this EC2 service. I'm just telling you how to create an EC2 instance in AWS. And before creating this EC2 instance, I need to focus on some basic points or some components. So what components are needed to create a virtual machine? For example, the second component is Ebs Volume, or you can say this is a just like virtual machine. VM is a virtual machine. If you are new for the virtual machine, I'll tell you what is a virtual machine. Virtual machine means you can create multiple machines on a one hardware. This is not just like your traditional machine. This is a virtual machine. And the second green color object I'm just creating here, it's an Ebs volume. Yes, Gulam, we require operating system for that. So I took image of an operating system, right? So AMI is an image of an operating system and it is available free of cost. And second component is Ebs volume. Ebs volume is just like in a hard disk. You know what is in a hard disk? Just like in a hard disk. You need a hard disk for your virtual machine. So we call it as Ebs volume in AWS. So the first you need an AMI. Second, you need Ebs volume. And third, you need a configuration for this machine. So you need a configuration for the instance. Instance means virtual machine. You need a configuration for this machine. Let's say means you need to define how many virtual CPUs and RAM is needed to create this machine. That we will select. Right. So this is the first component. Image is needed to create the machine. Second, you need configuration of the instance. Third, you need Ebs volume. And the fourth and most important component that you cannot ignore, it is mandatory component. You need one firewall. This is called the firewall. I'm just creating this firewall in red color. This is the firewall. What is a firewall? Firewall is a component which is responsible to filter incoming as well as outgoing traffic, right? This is a firewall. And the firewall in AWS, which you connect with the EC2 instance, is known as security group. We call it as a security group, right? And the firewall is connected with your machine. This is a mandatory. So without firewall, you cannot create your instance. And this firewall through AWS network is connected with internet. It is connected with the internet. So this is the internet. And guys, you are here. You are here. You are using this. You want to access this machine from the internet. And you must have one more important component. I'll tell you about this. Right. So guys, you are here. So this is your machine. You are sitting on internet and you are trying to use this. You are trying to access your machine from your laptop. Let's say this is your laptop and you are here, right? But guys, very important thing. In order to access this machine over the internet, you must have one more necessary and mandatory thing that is called the key of this instance. Because we are not using password here. We are using private key, right? So this guy must have a private key of the instance or virtual machine. So this is called the key of the instance. If you have key, then only you can take the remote of this key, otherwise not, right? So guys, these are four components. All four components are important, and the fifth component is your key, right? So in this diagram, I did decide that we have the total 5 components, and we'll try to understand how we can launch our first EC2 instance. And then later on, we will see how to take the remote of this particular EC2 instance. So I have my free account, right? This is my free account, guys. So I'm just going to use my Ohio region, for example. In Ohio region, so this is your AWS Management Console. When you log into your account, this is the very first screen you see. And this screen is known as AWS Management Console. Or you can say, this is the home page of AWS Cloud Computing. This is the home page, right? If you are here, yes, definitely. If you can bear the price, definitely you can create your CCIE lab in AWS, right? Right. That depends. It does use actually the multiple or different kind of appliances even. So those appliances are available, Saeed. But some resources are available free of cost, but some resources are not available free of cost. AWS also want to understand that you are learning or you want to apply this knowledge on your professional field. So by the way, AWS Management Console, and we have number of services. So this is the list of the services. I'll explain you each and every part of this, like what is the group, what are the services, and what are the services we are going to take. And this is the EC2 service under the compute. Here we have a star. This is the most popular service. That's why they did star here. Click on EC2. As you click on EC2, you're going to find this Ec2 dashboard is open. And this Ec2 dashboard is responsible to create and manage virtual machine. And virtual machines are known as EC2 instances in AWS. So guys, as you see, we do not have any instance as of now. And I'm in an Ohio region. Can you see the right topmost corner? In black strip, we have an Ohio region. So I'm in Ohio region. Region, I'll tell you what is a region. Region is basically the part of global infrastructure, and it's a geographic location. In Ohio region, I'm going to launch my machine or EC2 instance. So as of now, there is no instance we have. So we have a button called launch instances. As you click on this launch instances, so this is the first screen of the step you will have. And it is asking you to select the AMI. What is an AMI? AMI is basically image of an operating system, or you can say template of an operating system, right? So right now, I'm not explaining what is in the left side, what all these are, but so very first Linux image I'm taking. So I'm just going to launch one Linux instance. So I'm taking Linux instance, and this is available free of cost. So I'm taking this image, first of all. Operating system has been chosen in step 1. And a second step, here you are going to choose configuration of the machine. So how much resources you require to run this or to start this machine, to launch this machine. So this T2.micro is available free of cost if you are using free tier account. If you are using free tier account for 1 year, so this is the configuration type which is available free of cost, T2.micro. And under this, you are getting 1 virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM. You think that the 1 virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM, it's very less. No, it's not less, because you are working on very high performing hardware underlying it, right? So we are using Xeon based processor for our machine. So all these are basically high performance or high performance computing machines. So 1 virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM for my Linux instance is sufficient. So guys, I'm just going to click on next. Now I'm in a third screen. In a third screen, basically you are deciding in which particular network, in which particular subnet you are going to launch your EC2 instance or virtual machine. So this is basically a configuration about your network setting of your machine. But right now, I'm just taking default one. You can select your network, you can select your subnet, you can select your IP address, you can select your role, you can select, even you can provide some bootstrap script also in this step. So all these things we will take practically one by one, right? So guys, so let it be as it is. I'm okay for third step. So I'm not making any major changes here. So click on add storage, next button. So on this screen, you're going to see this, the add storage. I'm asking, actually AWS is asking here, you to select your hard disk for your virtual machine. And the hard disk for the virtual machine in AWS is known as Ebs Volume. EBS stands for Elastic Block Storage. So maximum 30 GB space you can take free of cost. And right now it's saying that the 8 GB is sufficient for my Linux machine. You don't understand, the 8 GB for machine? Yes, really. You don't need even more than 2 GB if you want to launch your Linux operating system on AWS. And it is a fully featured service, right? It will provide you all major features of that particular Linux version. So I'm okay with this. Right now, I want to start with one EBS volume. If you want to enhance the performance of the read-write, we can increase even IOPS. So I'll tell you what are the IOPS, what are the different kind of volumes we have. We have the general purpose volumes, we have provision IOPS, we have standard as well as the magnetic one. So number of things are there, and that definitely needs time to explain you, right? But I'm just demonstrating you how to create a virtual machine. So I'm taking again this standard 8 GB volume, and you are going to add the tag here, and you are tagging the machine. Tagging means you are giving the name of this machine, right? Let's say I'm writing my Linux server. And finally, you are just going to create security group here. You're going to configure the security group. What is a security group? According to this diagram, your security group is basically a firewall, right? So now you are here on a fourth step. So you are just going to provide the security group for your machine. And by default, the port number 22 is open from anywhere, right? And if you want to add, let's say I want to add ICMP to ping my machine over the internet. So you people can also check whether my machine is working or not. You're going to see this is from anywhere and review and launch. And finally, you can launch if you want to provide a key, private key for security, because we are not using the password here. It doesn't allow you to use the password. So we can use one thing. We can create a key, and key can use different kind of algorithm. So I'm okay with RSA. RSA is the one encryption algorithm, and ED25519 also is another encryption algorithm. So I'm using RSA, which is a popular one. And key pair name I'm taking, let's say my key NK, and I'm just writing the complete name. I download the key in my computer. First of all, you download the key. Let's say you select your download folder, save it, and finally you can see left bottom corner, the key has been downloaded in .pam format. And finally, you can launch the instance, right? Scroll down and you can view your instance. So guys, this instance has been launched. This instance has been launched, right? And you can see it's in pending state right now. It's in pending state. And it doesn't take much time. Usually, how much time you take to launch your Linux instance in your physical environment? How much time do you take? I think you can share this information with me. How much time do you take usually to launch your Linux instance or Linux machine? You are thinking here. Okay, tell me about Windows machine. How much time usually you take to create a Windows machine from scratch? Yes, you usually take approximately 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes if you want to configure, you can take more than 1 hour, right? But at least 15 to 20 minutes you take. And you can see my machine is ready here. Can you see? The machine is ready. And this machine has both public IP address as well as the private IP address. You can use this public IP address to reach my machine. So I'm sharing this public IP address among you, right? I'm sharing this among you. You try to ping my machine and please let me know. Are you able to ping my machine? So this is the IP address I did share here. And please let me know. Are you able to ping my machine over the internet? It means my machine is ready and you can access my machine. By the way, this machine is blank. I didn't configure any application. I didn't load, and I didn't load any application. But if you want to connect my machine as an administrator of this AWS account, if I just click on this connect button here, I can take direct access to this machine. You can just go and just connect here. You can take directly the remote of this Linux machine. This is the one method, right? This is the one method. You can go there. I'm working inside the machine, right? Second method is we have another method. You can say on my top right-hand corner, we have some icons here. We have a bell icon on the top, and we have this Cloud Shell icon here. You can see my pointer. This is a Cloud Shell. If you click on this icon, it will give you a Cloud Shell platform. And this Cloud Shell platform, you can use to work with your EC2 instances. Directly, you can use this Cloud Shell to just take the remote. This is the second method, right? And one more method we have. So let it be as it is. So this actually cloud you are loading very first time in this region. So this activity definitely takes a few minutes because AWS is launching an additional Cloud Shell machine for you. And you will use this machine to take the remote of your existing Linux instance that you have just created on this Ohio region, right? So this is being created. Very interesting thing is there. You have not to use a putty. You have not to use any other tool. Now this prompt is ready. And in order to take the remote, what you will do, you'll go to the action right inside, and we have an upload file. So first of all, you will upload the key is needed for that instance, because we had a key, right? So I'm using this key. This was the key, and I'm uploading the key. So this key is being uploaded, right? Because for authentication, if you want to take the remote of the instance from outside of this AWS environment, from anywhere, for authentication purpose, the key is required, right? For the authentication, because you are not providing any password here to your, no, we don't provide the password. Password can be copied. Password can be copied easily. So that's why we are not using password. We are using keys, private keys, instead of the passwords. So by the way, if you're just writing ls-l, you have the key. You uploaded the key in this shell, right? And you need to change its permission, chmod and 400, and I'm changing the permission. And guys, from here, I want to take the remote of the Linux instance. And what is the IP address of the Linux instance? We do not use putty these days. Putty is very old fashioned. Definitely you can use putty if you want, but the putty is not anymore in use. Actually, these days people are not using putty. I tell you why. You can directly use your Windows PowerShell. See, this is the machine and this is your IP address, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just writing a command, let's say SSH -i to insert the key name, This is the key name, and this is the username of my machine, EC2 user, and this is the public IP address. If you're writing this command and if you hit enter, you can see it is asking to accept the request to log in into your machine. You say right, yes, and you can see I logged in into that EC2 instance very easily using this Cloud Shell. This is another method. The first was the direct connect. Second is this this Cloud Shell. And third method that I want to share with you, it's a cloud, this is a PowerShell. Let's say this is my laptop. In my laptop, I have a PowerShell. I just do open a PowerShell, right? I do open a PowerShell, and I want to go to my download folder where actually that particular key is copied. What was the name of the key? The key name was, I think, my key. Okay. What was the key name? Sorry. The key name is my key NK08. My key NK08. Right. This is the key. This is the key we have. So I have to copy the IP address of this instance, and I'm just going back. From here, very simple. You just do write SSH-I and just do write the name of the key, and user of the machine. The user is EC2-user @ IP address of the machine. This is I'm doing from my laptop, right? So I'm running this command on my PowerShell and press enter. And you can see, yes, press yes, and you can take the remote of the machine. So why the putty is needed? Why you require the putty? Putty is no more in use, right? So Cloud Shell, Sam, there is a one icon here on the top. This is a bell icon. And besides bell icon, we have a Cloud Shell icon. Can you see here? You can see my pointer, right? So I think these are the three different methods you can use to take the remote of your Linux instance. So this is going to be very interesting, right? So this machine is running. If you want to configure this machine as a server, that you can do anytime. If you want to upload application in the server, if you want to connect with the storages, if you want to connect with your development team, that you can do. You can, if you want to publish your applications over the internet, that you can do. We have number of services. So in our next class, how many of basically people are just really serious, because these classes are free of cost. We are not charging anything for these classes for next. I think today is Wednesday and Friday, same time, 7 to 9. I'll just take this class, right? And we'll start with the list of services and global infrastructure virtualization. Are you interested in that? And how to create an AWS account? Definitely. So I'll list down all these things. So guys, in my next class, I'm just going to talk about the first of all, AWS free tier account, what you're getting in free tier account. This is really important. Number one. Number two, AWS Global Infrastructure. But before that, I think some people are struggling with the concept of virtualization. So what is the virtualization and hypervisor? And hypervisors. Really, will it work? And second, I'll talk about data center virtualization. Data center virtualization. And I'll share some important notes and diagrams among you. And in AWS Global Infrastructure, what are the regions? What are availability zone? What are availability zones? What are edge locations? What are local zone? Wow. And wavelength zones. Okay. And their connectivity and their significance. And after that, it is not possible actually in one class. And after that, we'll talk about AWS services and service groups and their uses, right? Is it interesting? And we are taking all these things practically. I mean, definitely some concepts are really theoretical, but such kind of practicals, I think you might have just liked this practical. So similarly, we have a number of practicals. So we'll take all these labs and you will definitely understand. And if you want me, I can repeat this lab, right? I think I'm just waiting your response. Please let me know. And what else we can include in. If you have some important notes and important comments, you can write. Migration is a very last topic. No issue. We are teaching migration in our course. But it's not a start topic, it's a last topic. Then how to migrate your machine from your data center to AWS, right? Yes, you have to do all these labs and you will do these labs with me. Will you? Price of the course, I think I'm not the right person. You can contact my team. They will tell you about the pricing. All content, duration, price, they will tell you. You please go there and just register your name. They will provide you, I think, each and every information. And this registration is free of cost. I think they are not charging anything. You just go there and just speak them, right? They are the right person. You will have actually the contact of networkings. Okay, you even if you means your fundamentals should be clear. You should have a prerequisite to start this training. So means you must have little experience, or you must have some experience in industry. Otherwise, if you don't have industry experience, you must be comfortable on TCP/IP, some Windows functionalities and Linux functionalities, as well as some basic understanding you should have. Yes. Now the one person I think is writing Elajide. So he's asking how actually AWS is different from Azure. Actually, these are the two different public platforms. Their service names are different. Their service capabilities are different. Their infrastructure, global infrastructure also has some differences. So if you want me to cover such kind of a topic, which should explain the differences between these platforms, I'll explain you. And definitely AWS is the biggest public platform, no doubt. And a lot of transparency is there. Yes, I know if you have a good understanding over CCNA, I think this is a good time, Ramesh, to start with AWS because your fundamentals are clear. Right. So we'll talk about hybrid cloud also. Good. I'm a network engineer trying to move the cloud. Training will be able to transit to AWS and not going to affect my current pay. Yes. You'll get a benefit if you're using cloud computing or if you're learning cloud computing. For IoT, we have DevOps. Definitely, we are just going DevOps, not DevOps. DevOps. Yeah, definitely, we are covering even DevOps. Thank you, everyone.